If you were looking for proof that the protests against the Glazers are working, this is the video that you need to watch, and seriously, please share this among fans because Manchester United as a football club are actively trying to censor peaceful protests, simple banners, simple flags. The club is reeling. The club cannot stop the protests and what the 1958 are helping to organise with constant, consistent protests. And I want to run through in this video the latest example that's come from Real Sociedad, where a United fan was not allowed his Glazers Out banner in the stadium. And we hear from the steward the fact that he's been told by Manchester United that he isn't allowed the flag in the stadium. And I've also got different examples, 2 different examples from Old Trafford. And also there's loads in this video. So please do watch it. Please share it because it's really, really important. Let's get straight into the example that happened last night. This is from Chris. Big up to you, Chris, by the way, for recording this because this evidence is really necessary, but just take a look at this video and have a listen to it as well.
I don't want this, I don't want this.
Right, you tell me why I'm not allowed that flagging.
This is their rules, mate.
Well, yeah, because what does it have on it? What does it have?
Happy about this,
No, I don't give a fuck about the time, mate. What does it say on it?
Ain't gonna happen, mate.
What do you mean it's not? Because it says Glazers Out on it, I'm not allowed that in the stadium.
The stadium rules are you can't.
Right, so Manchester United has said I'm not allowed that flagging because it says Glazers Out.
This is the rules of the stadium.
No. Right, so tell me, I'm not allowed that flagging, but everyone else is allowed their flagging. Why can't I have my flagging?
That's why they don't want it, they don't want it.
What does it say?
It's anti-glazier, they don't want it in, they don't want it
So
in.
they don't want anti-glazers in?
Yeah.
Right, so I can't take my flagging, so it's got anti-glazer stuff on it.
That's what it
That's
says.
all I need, mate.
All Chris was trying to do there is not allow the stewards to just use the words, oh, it's the stadium rules, it's the stadium rules, it's the stadium. It's obviously not the stadium rules. What? The Real Sociedad stadium has rules that you're not allowed Glazers. No, it's not. It's coming from Manchester United, who, of course, I think they do help. I think they employ those stewards. I think, if I remember correctly. And this is what he said after. He said, after I stopped filming yesterday, I had a chat to the United officials. They were told by the club not to let any anti-Glazer flags in the stadium. If we refuse to hand them over, then we wouldn't be allowed in the stadium. Now, this is proof that the protests are working. And it's also very dangerous because it's censorship. It's like a sort of policing state. I think that's the term that the 58 use, and I think it's correct. It's very, very dangerous. That's why the idea of the protests remaining peaceful is so important, because if it isn't, then we get a situation like this. Actually, no, sorry. I'll take back what I said there. Because it is. And therefore, situations like this, United are just exposing themselves. United don't know what to do with these protests. And this is not the only example. This is the latest of the examples. And I'll bring you the other ones now. This was recorded back at Old Trafford on the 8th of September. Down there, you can see the date. By a lad who was just next to the tunnel. And he had his own Glazers Out flag. And listen to what is said here.
What would they do? Because they don't want no banners. I'll ask you to turn it off, put it away like I did. I don't care. And then if you refuse, if you keep refusing and keep putting it out, then they'll just eject you.
It's not against the rules, though.
I don't care. That's why I was like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Enjoy yourself anyway.
That's ridiculous.
So there, he's got his banner, and he's there, and he's trying to put it up, but he's being told by the steward, if you do not take this banner down, you will be ejected from the stadium. He's saying, well, it's not against the rules. And he just keeps saying, I don't care. And there's another example of it. Now, this was the first example of it that happened. This was from the TRA disabled section. And I believe this is John Neild. And this was, where was this? 23rd of August this was. This prompted a response from Manchester United Supporters Trust saying that this sort of censorship is dangerous. But here we've got the example of, you can see the 2 stewards going through the bag of the banners that John Neild has and taking them out one by one. Look at that. Love United, hate Glazer. Nah, you can't have that. We'll take that one, thank you very much. You can see he's already got the green and gold banner in his arm. He's making sure all the others are all absolutely fine. Taking away any anti-Glazers flags that would have been put up. And this is peaceful protest. There is absolutely nothing illegal about doing this. And this is Manchester United actively pursuing and stopping these from happening. And as I said, this is the evidence that we need as fans to help push these protests even more. And I tell you what, it's not just with the banners that this censorship has been happening. This happened a long time ago. I haven't done a video on it to date, but I'm doing it now. Now listen to this. This is when Casemiro was unveiled as a new Manchester United player. Have a little listen to the audio track in this. It's only 15 seconds long. Seems absolutely fine. Seems like nothing wrong with it. But let's have a quick look here. You can see Casemiro walking out of the tunnel, turning around, clapping his hands, right? That's exactly what he did when he walked out of that tunnel. Now, let's quickly go over here to Casemiro walking out of the tunnel and clapping his hands. And let's hear the audio track. This is from Sky Sports, not from Manchester United directly. Have a little listen.
Look who's here. New Manchester United signing Casemiro. We've told the fee is around
clearly
about
hear
£60 million.
The Glazers Out chants. Now let's quickly go back there.
Look who's here.
Now the reason this is important is because Manchester United, what they've done there is they've recorded that video of Casemiro being unveiled, and instead of just using the audio track that came with it, they've switched it. They've switched it. Have a listen. Or in fact, what they've probably done, realistically, is they've just taken a microphone that's at a different part of the stadium and they've used that audio track instead of the one that was right there on that camera. Because it had Glazers Out and they didn't want it inside it. Now, there's more evidence. Let's keep piling evidence on top of this. This is what Richard Arnold was saying about the protests. Of course, when fans turned up at his house and he went to the pub and had a chat with them. This is what he said about protesting.
In every game. There's a couple of things. One, the protests. Okay, protest to me. It's my job. I should take it. Right? Protest to the owners. The sponsors have put money into our club. They shouldn't get punished. Right? What have they done wrong?
So Richard Arnold's there is saying, protest to me, protest against the owners, but don't protest against the sponsors. What have they done? They've put money into the club. And this is what Manchester United are actively doing now. United are worried. United are acting like a bit of a police state because they can't control these protests. They can't seem to dampen them or quiet them. They're like, shit, we bought all these players. It still won't go away. Right, let's just take the flags off them. Oh, they're starting to put these out there. Let's just keep taking the banners down. Keep taking the banners down. Let's change the audio tracks on there. Let's try and mute it that way. The club really don't know what to do. Richard Arnold there confirming that he doesn't want the protests to be affecting the sponsors, and that's exactly what's happening. And that's why I will continue to support everything that the 1958 has done so far, what the 1958 are doing in the future. Next protest, I believe, is going to be the City home game at Old Trafford on I think it's the 14th of Jan-ish, thereabouts. So make sure you get involved in that. But today you can even see La Liga's official account are tweeting about the Super League with a promotional video to make sure they warn people what is coming. And it is coming again in the future. And you know full well how important I see is the Glazers leaving to the long-term sustainability and future success of Manchester United. It absolutely is crucial. And I will continue to do whatever I can. I'm not going to be invited to I'm not going to be on any Christmas card list for the Glazers, that's for sure. But it's important that these sorts of truths are brought to the surface because I don't think it's being covered enough in the wider media. So please share this video, as I always do say. And what I'm going to do now is play one of the protest videos that I've created at the end of this to keep spreading the message about the Glazers, about what the club are doing in trying to mute these protests, even peaceful protests. They are working. Keep getting involved and keep doing what you are doing.
They took 24 million quid out of the club about 2 months ago. We've got now a decrepit, rotting stadium that is, to be fair, second rate when it was the best stadium in the world 15, 20 years ago. You've got a football project where they haven't got a clue. You've put bankers in charge of the football club, not making football decisions. They've not appointed a sporting director, right? We can look at the players all you like, but there are that many big things that need to be put right first. They've got to show up and basically face the music. Now's the time.
British billionaire Sir Jim Ratcliffe wants to buy a stake in Manchester United with a view to taking full control if the club is for sale. One source has told us he's serious about owning the club and former players would be involved in any potential offer. The development follows reports that the Glazer family are considering selling a minority stake in the club. United have declined to comment about rumours and speculation. Ratcliffe is a United fan, has invested in several sports teams in recent years. According to Forbes, overnight is worth £10.8 billion.
You can't get away from the ownership issue, and I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. Under the current owners, this is what United is going to be like.
The only money that has been spent on players at Manchester United is the money the club has generated or that it's borrowed.
We have seen many anti-Glazer protests at Old Trafford down the years, and this was one of the biggest. Tens of thousands of United supporters pouring down to Matt Busby Way. This protest organised by the 1958, one of the Manchester United supporters groups. They wanted it to be a peaceful protest and a legal one too, and that's what they got. It was full of passion and anger towards the Glazer family. They are still so upset with them for landing this club in hundreds of millions of pounds of debt. The interest on that debt comes to about £19 million a year in interest payments. There's so much more that the fans are unhappy with the Glazer ownership, the way they've structured the club, putting perceived bankers in charge of football decisions. They also tried to lead them into a European Super League. And of course, this is the only club in the Premier League which pays its owners dividends.
Because the way they bought the club and the way they loaded debt onto the club and the way the club has to pay those debts off means that United are going to fall further and further behind very well-run clubs, where you've got owners who put money in, not owners who take money out.
An apology, perhaps. Are the fans just customers to you, Mr. Glazer?
Manchester United need £1 billion in this next 2-3 years to either rebuild or renovate that stadium. They probably need another £500–600 million for training ground and other infrastructure projects and football investment. They've only got £40–50 million cash left in the bank. They were cash rich 3 years ago. They had £350 million in the bank. They've no longer got that money in the bank. Something is going to have to give soon, very, very soon.
Well, with the protests over for now, all eyes turn on those potential takeover talks. Last week, Manchester United fan and very businessman Sir Jim Ratcliffe confirmed that he would be interested in buying Manchester United if it were ever put up for sale. The fans that have been here tonight will be hoping that he sticks to his word and forces the Glazers into leaving their club.
And he's always said that he was potentially interested in buying United if they were put up for sale. And that has now been confirmed. He said that, look, this is not about money as far as Sir Jim is concerned. It just feels like the time is right for a reset